trying to go away from their triple tank heavy setup. So he says that we're probably going to see some different things that we've seen from Fnatic, and one of the players to look at is Buds and how he's going to be changing things up. And really, from watching Fnatic and OGN, they did not look very good. They are going to be have to making some changes going into here. And Hex,
we'll
anything
see
to
how.
add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, anything to add to that, mate?
No, I really do believe that Buds has been kind of hot or cold for this team over the last year or so. It's been very meta-dependent for him when he's been very good. Of course, Beyblade was very kind to him. I was just going to say I got some coaching on some of these Brazilian names, if you want a little insight. KRK is Karuki, I believe is how you say it. Alameo is Alamon. And then Lico there at the end is, well, Lico. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm excited to see this Brazilian team. That's really what I'm looking forward to today, and Fnatic has a lot of questions they need to answer.
Right, so we're going to see Brazilian Gaming House start off with a Reaper in their composition here. We'll have to see how that plays in. Hafacool playing quite close up, even scouting as Vonifil was early in the ground, but immediately BGH have headed up to the high ground, Hex, hoping to start something up. They are hit by that fire grenade, which will slow them down.
An odd place for them to be sitting right now. Vonifil gets caught out very early, but they do end up losing their Zenyatta in change, but now Dudu going all the way in on this Reaper, and that is a fitting name for what he's doing to this team right now.
Yeah, I think Vonifil tried to boot them off the high ground, but it looks like he got caught out in the process, so the kills are actually coming through for BGH. They have the point held pretty comfortably. Carter does have a nano boost now, with Stoop onto the point. Yes, he's a recipient of the nano boost now, trying to work on towards Lico, trying to pressure him back. Mirrors, the newest addition here for BGH, into the back line, but it looks like Fnatic are able to establish a bit more control for the moment here, but this fight could get messy as the charge comes in from Stoop.
Some good old-fashioned swing in there from Stoop. He didn't even have to use his Earth Shatter as it came in late enough, so they're going to have the ult economy lead for the moment. On the other side of things, though, Death Blossom, Earth Shatter about to be ready, a combination that works really well. Karuki, who was on the Zenyatta, is going to switch to the Ana instead, perhaps to get a little more healing, and most importantly, anti-healing, which is what really hurt their early push as they got hit with that early nade, had to set up. It looks like they want to rotate top again.
Yeah, a good place to start the dive off, I think. It's good sleep down on towards Cormat, though, and Stoop gets charged up against the wall. Mariz up onto the high ground, and that's the Earth Shatter coming through, but to very little effect there. Now the sound barrier for Brazilian Gaming House, and they are pushing through with alacrity. It's 2 kills already for Dudu amongst that fight, and Hafacool has to work around the fringes to even stay alive. Bud's not nearly as lucky. He was too close to the action, and that is a very consistent and solid fight for BGH. They'll have first.
It's early yet, but I'm a little concerned of where Vonifil has been. It's not necessarily that he's dying, the rest of his team is dying, but being Lucio and being where he's died has been a little bit of a concern. Dudu able to save this Death Blossom, probably off the top rope, hopefully, is what he has planned up, but right now Fnatic taking the high ground, take the slow ride elevator.
It could be a pretty nasty counter-engage as well, because the way Fnatic is set up here, they obviously want to do a bit of dive of their own, get the Winston in towards the backline after a pick. And having that there as well available, the Death Blossom is going to be pretty good to dissuade any further aggression. So we'll see how Fnatic navigate around such a powerful ultimate. Right now, Hafacool's trying to work out on towards the sides, trying to pressure Dudu, but this payload is being allowed to make a lot of progress. Now the jump comes in, though. We do see the jump forward here from Stoop. He's on that Winston. Lico gets up in the air, and Bud's going to pop that tack visor.
Taking the absolutely free push and now losing nothing even on the retreat. From Tac Visor is now done. Dudu goes down from Cool Matt, though, after the Death Blossom came in. Took down Vonifil yet again. So far, the fight so in favor of BGH as Lico comes in looking for the cleanup, gets dash resets. No need to use the Dragon Blade here. They gave a lot of free push, and they took it. Really nice retreat there from BGH to not give them any value on the tactical visor.
Ooh, Hafacool manages to stick a pulse bomb to Mirrors as he jumps away, but really that's not going to be a whole lot to write home about because this payload is sailing very close to second after just one fight. Fnatic haven't stabilized at all. They need to now. This needs to be a big fight from them. The Dragon Blade coming out from Lico, but he's knocked back here by the whole hog. He can't get in range of this fight, but the payload's still moving. Fnatic have to go for that second attack now.
Hoffy's been a big part of this Fnatic defense so far, getting clutch kills after another. Started taking down the Ana there, able to get another kill late into that. His Tracer has been the thing keeping them in this game.
And it's worked out so far. Hafacool now able to group up towards the front and maybe just try and spot out early some hero switches. Although Fnatic don't have time to switch themselves, at least we'll give them a little bit of information. Dudu obviously has been on that Tracer so far. He's got the Pulse Bomb. Now, there's no Zarya present here on the side of bgh, so don't expect that kind of combo. But still, we've seen Hafakul use it effectively on its own so far. But now Coolmat has to jump in here. Stoop is with him. He goes first. He does get bionated straight down, and Mirrors is trying to get Custer out from the back lines here. Primal Rage is popped.
Well, they do bully into the backlines. Buds and Custa do go down to the flankers of bgh. Dudu and Liko get to the backline. Dudu is not done. He takes out his counterpart, and Hafi Neil is the only one so far to die for bgh, and now the full cleanup. This will mean second point unless Vonathil's got a miracle up his roller skates. He does not. He goes down. bgh will grab second point.
bgh is just straight up team fighting a lot better than Fnatic right now. Dudu already has 83% on his next Pulse Bomb. That was a huge fight from him. If you give Tracer too much room, she will continue having that ultimate available. And to devastating effects so far, it seems that bgh have been able to use them effectively. There's an Earth Shatter here for Neil. Liko has Dragon Blade. I don't think Fnatic can hold this for very long. They really need to pull out the stops here because bgh have surprised them.
It has been a question of where Buds is setting up to. So far, not the tactical visor he wanted. He was also very far behind. He's getting jumped on away from his team. There it is again. Gets jumped on by Liko. Vonathil will make him pay for it, but meanwhile, Dudu did hit that Pulse Bomb. Was able to stick Stoop early in that fight, so they do have a small advantage. Hafi does the exact same thing onto Neil. It's hard life being a Reinhardt nowadays, all these Tracers.
Yeah, a massive pain in the neck to deal with for sure. Mirrors finds Vonathil though. It does look like bgh are going to have to step back here. They get that exit kill, as it were, but they won't be able to follow up too quickly. Now the rest of their players are there. Mirrors is very well charged up in a good position to do damage, and Stoop hastily backing away. A lot of pressure now coming out from bgh. They're bringing a brand of aggression that perhaps Fnatic just aren't used to since their time in Korea. But now the pressure's going to come forward. Good Vita Grenade landed, but still, where's the follow-up? There it is. It's going to be a Tact Visor and a Whole Hog over the top, and this has got to push the Brazilians back.
Well, Tactical Visor does get nano boosted too, but only gets one. A beautiful charge from Neil pushes Buds into the wall. It's just Hafi now trying to equalize things. Hafi and Vonathil on the point. A nice sound barrier should keep this team pretty alive there. Vonathil does end up taking down Neil. So this should be the ultimate usage they need to be able to hold. The cleanup comes out there. Karuki goes down late. They have to reset for bgh.
Fnatic are being pressured so hard here. Fortunately, I mean, the pedigree of their team in general is able to keep them alive in that situation, and now there's 1:36 left on the clock. So the pace definitely being slowed a little bit here from the side of bgh, but Stoop, standing quite far forward, isn't caught out. He's able to just step back away as an experienced Reinhardt should. But Dude is going to be looking for an in, as is Hafakul. Good Pulse Bomb, he lands it. Neil falls down, and now I might just have to be a bit more waiting for bgh. They realise losing the Reinhardt, the anchor tank as he's been known lately, they're going to have to back away and wait.
Reinhardts have just been eating stickies in this meta for the last several months. You can't do much about it. Alameo, or Alamon, I'm going to struggle with that one, I think, does have Sound Barrier ready to go here, but more importantly, both tank ultimates about to be up for bgh. There goes the Sound Barrier to keep them alive. They want to get in here with an Earth Shatter and maybe a grab. Yeah, big Vita Grenade coming out from Custer, but there wasn't enough damage done immediately after to follow up on it. And then the Graviton comes in. Stoop was nano boosted, but the whole time he was caught in the Graviton, unable to access, I guess, the ability to do damage. And now it's Hafakul, has to do a heck of a lot on his own, but it won't last long. Vita Grenade coming down will finish him off, and it's desperation time now. Coolmat on the D, we've seen this before. Pushing forward with Vonathil. Pulse Bomb doesn't quite have the desired effect, and that Fire Strike is blocked out by Coolmat. That's one way to put it. He fed that Pulse Bomb right into the D.Va's defense. Matrix got nothing out of it, I guess, willing to take that chance. Still, all the kills in favor of bgh as Neil swinging very hard. It's just Stoop alive, but not for long. They're looking for this cleanup. Custa tries to jump on, but bgh will close out the map. 13 seconds remain. Pretty impressive aggression coming out from the side of bgh. It looks like their team fighting is definitely in a good place. Slasher, is this any surprise to you, seeing the way that this half, at least, has transpired?
I mean, not really. I mean, you do have Brazil on high ping, so in general for this tournament it is going to be rough for them to get things done, but they like playing dive, and also a specialty for them is Dudu on Reaper, which they played a whole lot throughout the Old Spice Brazilian tournament. I think a lot of teams aren't used to their opponents playing Reaper in the recent meta, so maybe that was the reason they were able to take first point. And Fnatic, it's still a weak map for them, so for them to be able to even get it down 20 seconds, I think is actually pretty impressive. But they're going to have, I think, a rougher time on offense. Fnatic are going to have to get things going. We saw Happy Cole on Tracer the majority of that map, and I think they're going to have to continue that going into the offense.
Well, initial team comps here. It'll be interesting to see what we see on the side of the Brazilians, especially, they've got a little bit of a special flavor, I feel, to some of their play hacks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you sort of feel that way, but I like the Reaper inclusion there. But it's clear to see that Dudu is flexible enough to play the Tracer and now the Roadhog. I mean, we've got 76 here. We've got the D.Va coming in with the Torbjorn. What are your thoughts?
It's interesting. I almost would have preferred the defensive Reaper here. The only time we've seen Reaper recently in North America anyways, Liquid has been running it on Anubis last, and it's worked out very well for him. I think a lot of teams have forgotten how good he can be in those close quarters, and Reaper used to live on this map right around the corner and try to get in, but I do like the Torb. The Torb has had a good effect of making teams split forces. It's just interesting to see where they're going to put it after the first one goes down. Do you put it in backstairs and put a Reinhardt in front of it? It becomes very difficult to deal with. Buds is going to be on McCree, though, something we don't necessarily see him run all that often, but I haven't seen a lot of this Fnatic team recently, so I'm looking forward to it. Buds is definitely a player that has very high ceilings and has games where he could do more.
Yeah, historically, Buds wasn't really much of a McCree player. That was IDDQD's role on the initial Fnatic.
Yeah.
He was more, geared towards playing the Reaper, I guess, and the Tracer in many cases. But Fnatic are going to start off here again. They want the high ground in much the same way that BGH did. The difference is the Brazilians aren't really looking to interfere with that too much. They want to play back. They want to play around this. Torbjorn here as a turret does go firing away. Good little long-range grenade going down, and we can see Stoop getting slipped immediately as he starts the fight.
Already down 2 tanks for Fnatic as Matt and Stoop both down. That is a lot of meat on the ground that they're not going to have to protect and give the space that they need. But still untouched up here so far. That here comes a D.Va, going to push him out a little bit at the very least. They seem to want to keep the positioning that they have and just wait for the tanks to reinforce, and Brazil's not doing anything to really bully them out of here.
No, they want to play around this Torbjorn turret as much as possible, but now it's going to be the nano boost going on towards Neil. Another massive Bardic grenade coming out from, I guess, from the side of Custer. You got to be able to rely on that, I guess, if you're Fnatic here, but the kills are back and forth. It's going to be Alaman finally falling to Buds, who has a lot of space, a lot of freedom, but not exactly a lot of sightlines. This is quite bizarre. BGH forced back into the corner. Mariz, Neil, and Liko able to actually give an account of themselves at this stage, but now they need to get onto the point. It's D.Va Reinhardt versus D.Va McCree, and it looks like Fnatic will have the better of them.
Unless this D.Va can do something crazy. It's 1v3 right now, and there's a lot of damage coming out. Mirez is going to come in and stall out at the very least. He's going to buy time for his team, but a nice fan the hammer shuts down Torb, who's trying to reinforce this looks to be Fnatic's fight, and conversely, their point.
Yeah, Hafakul there running straight through towards the end. You know, one of the reasons he was brought to this Fnatic team was that he had that deep hero pool. He was playing D.Va and Hanzo at the time, but Genji is definitely something up his sleeve as well. In much the same way we saw from a lot of teams trying to supplement their lineup with that Genji player, a la Rogue, for example. Works out well enough here, 4 minutes and 32 seconds on the clock. So this essential 2-2-2 lineup for Fnatic. No real bugs to iron out so far. We'll have to see now what the response is going to be from BGH, though. Of course, I
like this 2-2-2 as well. They're in the vertical tanks. Tanks that can really prioritize taking the high ground, and that's exactly what they do. Now BGH is trying to take a fight on the streets. They're getting collapsed upon.
Hafakul going forward, getting aggressive. Bud's already got 2 kills. One was with the Dead Eye towards Mirrors, but now Dudu, it's going to be the nano-boosted attempt at a whole hog, but he's put to sleep immediately. And behind the scenes, Custer has been doing so much important work in this game so far. Coming forward now, good little grenade on towards Dudu. That'll be enough, and Fnatic have not been stopped yet.
Buds' McCree is looking pretty solid. It looked a little shaky the first minute on the first high ground of Hollywood, but since then, he's been having all the room he needs to operate. At this point, you can't let Buds beat you. Neil does switch over, maybe going to get in his face onto the Winston as well. They're prioritizing at least getting them off of high ground. Scares the Cowboy down.
Ooh, nice headshot there as well coming out from Buds. And Vonnefield gets the kill on towards Neil. The Winston wasn't even able to complete the dive before he gets taken down. And this is Fnatic not allowing BGH to settle, not letting them set up, not letting him use his high ground. They're forcing him down to their level to fight on the ground, and it's working a treat. Mariz actually going over towards the Soldier 76 earlier on now, trying to get some aggression in Buds. A beautiful headshot, or at least it looked like that, on towards Dudu from reasonable range to keep this fight going. And Fnatic, good work to them. They've only lost 1 fight so far in this map, and now desperation from BGH, but it's too late.
No reason to fight out here now anymore, and that was all Fnatic, that entire stage. Nothing good went for BGH there, and look at these ultimates now. They've got 4 in their chest for Fnatic. BGH has been switching, trying to find answers, haven't gotten any damage done, so they're going to have 0 ults. Fnatic with a good position to take this next fight, but honestly, they should be saving them if they can. Take all the free push you can get, and then push in one last time with your ults if BGH allows it. But so far, they've done nothing to contest Fnatic since first point.
Well, they could play the poke game, but they've got all the ultimates here as well. They're going to be forced to fight for it, though. You can see bgh are going to force these ultimates out of them and make it more costly. And that's the Dragon Blade. It's also going to be that sound barrier being used here, and even the Nano Boost. So Fnatic have had to use all their ultimates, but justifiably they win the fight. They don't have any left, though, for this last push, so it's going to have to be bgh now trying to pressure that and take advantage of it. But Fnatic, they're running at a rate of knots towards his final point.
Well, you're going to have a lot up for bgh. Pulse Bomb will be there, Nano will be there. Here comes a Blade coming out, too. Happy does shut down Liko, though. There goes Alamon. Cool Man comes in again. Wow!
Okay,
they used a lot and got nothing.
Now it's fight after fight that Fnatic is starting to win there. That was a lot invested by bgh. It just doesn't work out. Now it's pure stall. They've got no other options. They can't set up. They can't wait for 6 plays. They've got to go in now. Liko taking a lot of damage now. It's going to be the Tac Visor being used by Muris here, but he's being blocked out for the most part by Coolmat. Shut down by the defensive Matrix. Nano Boost on towards Neil. This is true desperation as he goes straight into the Primal Rage just to try and keep bgh afloat in this map. Fnatic pressuring them every step of the way, and KRK going to fall to Hafikul now. Neil in vain perhaps just trying to swing for the fence. It may not be enough though. Here's the self-destruct. This should clear the point, but not from Fnatic. Just getting onto it now, and that should almost be it. It is done. A convincing time here from Fnatic after we talked about this being one of their weaker maps, Slasher.
Yeah, I mean, but they are changing things up. They ran 2-2-2 through the entirety of that offense. They had Buds on McCree for most of that, and that's not something that we've seen him play lately, not, you know, for a very long time, since McCree's been kind of knocked out of the meta for Soldier and other hit scan heroes, and it's worked out quite well for them. I mean, bgh had a good chance in the very beginning with LML being on Torb. He actually did have Torb ult, but then he gets killed before he's able to use it. Maybe if he gets that off, they're able to hold first point a little bit longer. But since he does not get the ult off, then he has to switch over to Lucio. He doesn't have the ult advantage, and they pretty much get snowballed through second and through third point. So really, bgh needed to hold on for first point a little bit longer to prevent from that happening. Fnatic had the ult advantage through the majority of second and third point.
Not much more to it than that. I think Slasher nailed it there. That was as snowbally of an offense you will ever see on Hollywood once they got going after on Fit for First. I think the big question I had is why they didn't prioritize trying to deal with Buds, and it came even in the very first point. After they got 3 kills, Buds was just chilling up top, just taking pot shots, and yes, you have to keep your turret alive, but Buds was a free kill at that point had they gone in.
You're exactly right, though. That's what bgh trade away. They trade away the ability to really dive because they really want to turtle around that turret and get a lot of value out of it, hope for a Molten Core for that first fight or whenever. But Buds was able to do far too much work. Now, going to be bgh on that attacking side here. I'll just see what they can create. They've got 50 seconds left to go. Buds gets caught out. He's too far forward. Fnatic, a moment of hubris, a moment of overconfidence. They're now going to make up for it. They've got to hang on here. Mariz is threatening. Coolmat and Vonithil having to back away. Vonithil goes down, even up on that wall, trying to skate his way to victory here. Fnatic hastily backpedaling.
That's a spot that we've seen a lot of soldiers set up on Hollywood defense to get just free damage, absolutely free. You don't expect to die there, but the giant leap in from Winston, chasing down with the Tracer. Now it's a little more standard equalize, trying to get into the cafe here is Liko. He goes up over the top, forces Buds down. Buds gets cleaned up by Miraz as well, so that's a nice entry kill for this bgh team.
Just keep getting aggressive. They just don't really have any other gear than go at this stage. Well, we'll see. Grenade was used onto most of Fnatic's backline, but they managed to sustain through the damage comfortably, and this is an interesting nano boost here. Maybe unnecessary, but Fnatic, you can see the desperation in defending, but they've done it. No more points for bgh after that half. They tried to dive in, but realistically, they had very little time to work with.
They lost a lot of their damage dealers early on there, and it was eventually just Liko versus 4 tanks, and as good as a Genji can be, that's a lot of HP to try to burn through. So he was unable to get it. They only had a minute on the dive, and even though they were able to punish Buds a couple of times, everyone else standing too strong for them to come through. Now, pretty easy win condition. 336 to capture first point for Fnatic.
It's huge. I mean, Buds got picked off right at the start, and then immediately as he got back to Cafe on respawn, he died again. So that could have been an opportunity there for Brazil Gaming House to actually make some progress. But like you said, there are a few tanks in the mix there, and the rest of Fnatic were actually able to make up for that as well. So keep an eye on Hafikul because he's actually been doing a lot of work in the periphery, and Custer as well. He's had some really, really good... I mean, look, Bionic Grenade's not hard to hit. We know that. But if you use it properly, you can really turn a fight, and he's done that multiple times.
I have no problem with you giving all the love to your Australian counterpart in Custa.
Well, it turns out I was in the same year at university as his brother, and me and Custa both graduated from the same university with a similar degree. So we go back. He's from Adelaide.
I mean, to be fair, there's not a whole lot of good Australian players to root for. So,
just get it in there. Right one. Oh, twist the knife. That's true. It's true, but hey, that's fine. Adelaide Pride going to be coming through here. 3 minutes and 36. Let's see. Bud's going to be on this Widowmaker here as well. All he needs is a couple picks, or maybe even just the one, to open things up here for Fnatic.
Well, we'll see. He's going for that giant grapple shot over the top. Does not end up connecting, but still going to spend his life on this Widow. Buds on Widow is not something I am very familiar with, but he's trying a lot of things. We mentioned that it's a question going in forward, what he's going to play, how well he's going to play. He's keeping them very far back, but that's where they wanted to play on defense anyway.
Yeah, the grenade was down. It was an early grenade used by BGH for maybe a little bit of extra healing, but then the dive came through from Fnatic. Cormat goes down first to Liko, though. They weren't able to focus down that 76, but the Ana is gone. Alienware gets 2 kills here, and that's pretty scary. 70% Torbjorn going into the next fight. Molten Core might be imminent.
It's really important to keep a Torb up for the first push. Very similar to a Symmetra. You start seeing all these armor packs going down. Neil now has armor. Alamana also has armor of his own. And as you mentioned, Molten Core can be absolutely brutal. 75%. It gets so much HP on both that turret and on the Torb. It's a push-stopping ultimate at the very least, and he's getting close to it.
However, Buds picks off Liko. That's what he was looking for in the first push. This could be absolutely massive. The pressure is going to keep coming now. Fnatic need to make their push, but Coolbat was quite deep on that Diva. Now into the backline goes Stupid Hafakul. The 2 versus the 5 essentially now, and all the tanks doing a lot of work for Fnatic. Pressure is on. Earthshatter comes down. Vonithil caught and taken down, and also Hafakul off towards the side. He fell to Alamon's turret. It was a Molten Core used in that fight, if I'm not mistaken, but that was exactly what Brazil Gaming House needed.
Molten Core was popped. Like I said, that's just the end of the push right there. You can't even peek if you're Widowmaker trying to get over. The core just, or the turret just does too much damage and too much range. They do have some options to push in right now, though. Custa is holding on to a Nano. A Nano Blade seems to be one of their best options. Hafi's going to have that up as well. That looks to be what they're setting up for. Rotating some tanks around back as they try to go in through the front. Here comes the Blade.
Dragon Blade in for Hafakul. He needs to find these targets. He gets 2 with 1 slash. Alamau and KRK go down, and this is looking a lot better for Fnatic so far. Buds is even there. The amount of threats on the side of Fnatic is just too much for BGH to deal with here, and the push is on. The point is being captured, and this should all well be Fnatic taking the point now. Only got 1 or 2 players on there, so they're not stacking it, but look at this. Chasing kills. Vonithil goes down, but he probably doesn't care too much here. Fnatic should have this one locked down, except a bit of a contest attempt from the Ana may not be enough. Now still contested, but KRK taken down by Bud. Stoop is there for Liko. Dudu now trying to dance on the point, but there's not much he can do, and Cormac goes for the self-destruct, but it's not necessary. First map to Fnatic. A very strong attacking side sets them up with a lot of a buffer to finish off the game, Hex.
Is it just a beautiful set play, that Nano Blade? They also rotated their tanks around the back and threw a self-destruct over top, so while people are cowering for cover, here comes a boosted Genji in the back.